All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Gonna do a new feature. It's going to be called News You Can Use. These are stories that you can use to maybe strike up a conversation, or maybe if you have a lull in a conversation and you're wanting to find something to talk about, use one of these. And first off, someone get Kevin Bacon on the horn. And I don't want any excuses because a study has found that we all really do know someone who knows 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 him. Now, 6 degrees of separation is the claim that anyone on Earth is no more than 6 social connections away from anyone else. And a group of mathematicians just found that 6 really is the sweet spot. They found every new friend you add comes with an upside and a downside. The upside is your social network expands, but at some point, adding new friends weakens your other connections, and old friends start falling away. Now, in other words, there's an equilibrium. And they found the 6 degree pattern kept popping up. They said, quote, when we did the math, we discovered an amazing result. This process always ends with social paths centered around the number 6. Now, they say it doesn't just apply to people, though. For example, it also works with viruses like COVID. They say, quote, within 6 infection cycles, a virus can cross the globe. Now, if your kid is going into their junior or senior year, be aware. They could be hitting peak awkwardness. A new poll asked adults how old they were when they felt the most awkward. The average answer was 17. Now, 2/3 of adults said that they still have moments when they feel just as awkward as they did back then. And it turns out we're still worried about a lot of the same things. People were asked to name the top things they were self conscious about as teens and the top things that they're self conscious about now. Now, the top 3 things we worried about in high school were our weight, our hair, and our teeth. And those are still the top things we're self conscious about. Now, other things we still worry about include our height, our posture, our voice, our glasses, and yes, acne too. Now, guys, crocs are already ugly. It is part of the appeal in a way, so I guess why not make them even uglier? New crocs that look like the character Shrek are suddenly the hottest footwear on the planet, and no one even owns a pair yet. Now, they went viral after photos hit the internet, and according to Google, they've been top trending search this week. Now, they're normal lime green crocs, but the backstrap is furry to look like his brown vest. They come with gibbets you can stick on the top that look like his ears and nose. Now, Crocs say that the kids' version will cost $50 and adult sizes will be $60. They'll hit the Crocs website and select stores next Wednesday. Now, it's not clear why they're doing it now, but a 5th installment of the franchise is supposedly in the works. The original Shrek movie came out over 20 years ago in 2001. Now, would you say that your relationship is an opposites attract scenario? Well, you might have actually more in common than you think. A new study found opposites attract might just be a myth. We're way more likely to end up with people we have stuff in common with. They looked at old studies that analyzed 22 different traits. Then they did a follow-up that looked at 80,000 couples and more than 130 traits, everything from religion and core values to each person's drinking habits. Now, overall, they found that most couples have similar habits and views on more than 80% of stuff, and substantially different views on just 3%. Now, things we're most likely to have in common include our political views, religious views, education level, how much each person drinks and smokes, and even the number of sexual partners we've had. Now, this part's interesting. They did find that extroverts don't necessarily go for other extroverts, but they're no more likely to go for introverts either. It's kind of a coin flip. Now, overall, they did find that opposites attract is definitely overrated. They said, quote, birds of a feather are indeed more likely to flock together. And finally, when I say dad rock, who comes to mind? Maybe Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Motley Crue, Iron Maiden. But what about Pearl Jam and Nirvana? Sure, but what about My Chemical Romance and Linkin Park? Now, some kid made a video saying that those bands are indeed dad rock now. And so are acts like System of a Down, Avenged Sevenfold, 3 Days Grace, Deftones, Muse, Slipknot, Bullet for My Valentine, Skillet, Fall Out Boy, and Sum 41. Now, interesting and possibly an ironic note, the kid who made the video was wearing a Metallica shirt. So my question, did this kid hit the mark, or is it too early to call those bands dad rock? Discuss, share your comments if you will, and be sure and subscribe. And we'll be back with more news you can use real soon.